Thanks for joining me again as we look back at another great classic film. While being made 25 years after the beginning of talking pictures, this film taps into key silent film traditions and is remarkably a film that gets by with next to no dialogue. It focuses on amusing slice-of-life situations, but never asks us to laugh at any of the characters. And it introduces us to an iconic screen character who would make follow-up appearances thanks to the comic genius who wrote, directed and starred in this film. It is Les Vacances de Monsieur Hulot, or Mr. Hulot's Holiday from 1953. The writer, director and star of this film was born Jacques Taterchef in 1907 and was a successful French music hall performer before moving into film in the 1930s and changing his name to Jacques Tati. His 1947 short film, L'École des Facteurs, School for Postmen, was the basis for his first feature in 1949, Jour de Fête. Tati turned down an offer to make a sequel in order to make this film. The story is set in an old-world beach resort in Brittany where Mr. Hulot is vacationing and was inspired by Tati's own experiences that included a vacation at Saint-Marc-de-sur-Mer, the location of this film. Tati felt that it had the plain universal quality seen in post-war French beach resorts. Most of the establishments and setups of the town were shot on location, although Tati did use sets for Martine's family's rental property and the souvenir shop. A statue of Hulot stands on the promenade overlooking the beach where they shot the film. This is the first film appearance of Monsieur Hulot, for whom nothing goes to plan, but nothing surprises him either. The character was likely influenced by Buster Keaton before him, perhaps best demonstrated by the scene where Hulot is painting his canoe. And the character of Hulot subsequently influenced Mr. Bean, with Rowan Atkinson citing this film as a major influence, particularly for his film Mr. Bean's Holiday from 2007, which is also set in France. Characters aren't so much established as they keep appearing, and we come to recognise them rather than to know them. The pretty blonde, played by Nathalie Pascaud, the waiter who cannot believe the trouble people put him to, an old couple who are intent on inspecting everything in their path, a retired general who is easily offended, and small children who have luck on their side, blessed with ice cream cones that seem certain to spill but never do. Sound plays an important role in this film, effectively as an additional but invisible character. The annoying sounds made by the door in the hotel dining room is troubling for us, the audience, but doesn't seem to bother any of the holiday makers, much in the same way the other characters' quirky behaviours don't seem to annoy anyone on screen. What adds to the film's light comic feel is the jazzy recurring theme music, How is the Weather in Paris, that was written by composer-pianist Alain Romans. During the original release in 1953, the film had significant success in France, selling more than 5 million tickets and gaining an international reputation for its creator. The film played for years in art cinemas around the world, where word of mouth and the lack of any language barrier kept the audiences coming in. In spite of heavy criticism for the film's weak dialogue, Tati's stated intention was to make what dialogue there was as realistic as possible, simple or boring, to capture the banality of real vacationers. Tati continued to revise the film throughout his life. In addition to the original 1953 version, he edited the film in 1960 and made a serious revision in 1978. This final version featured a scene where Hulot's kayak collapses in on itself while he's in the ocean, giving the appearance of a shark and frightening beachgoers. Tati said that his inspiration for this scene was the 1975 film Jaws. Roger Ebert has written that he needed multiple viewings of this film to fully appreciate it, saying, "It is not a comedy of hilarity but a comedy of memory, nostalgia, fondness and good cheer. There are some real laughs in it, but Mr. Hulot's Holiday gives us something rarer, an amused affection for human nature. So odd, so valuable, so particular. This is the film for which he'll be remembered." Despite the film's title, Mr. Hulot is not in all of the scenes. It's an ensemble piece with a variety of character types strolling around, getting into various predicaments, not all of them Hulot related, and not all of them even witnessed by Hulot. Hulot is not the source or the focus of the humour. He is there to provide a perspective for the humour that surrounds him and surrounds us. Tati almost never uses close-ups. He keeps us at a medium distance as if we were fellow vacationers observing the action. As a result, it's up to us to pay attention to the frame and notice the gags when they appear. New York Times critic Bosley Crowther said that the film contained much of the same visual satire that we were used to getting in the silent pictures of Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton. He said that the film exploded with merriment and that Tardy is a long-legged, slightly pop-eyed gent whose talent for caricaturing the manners of human beings is robust and intense. There is really no story to the picture. The dialogue is at a minimum, and it is used to satirise the silly and pointless things that some people say. Sounds of all sorts becoming firecrackers tossed in for comical effect. Jacques Tati recounted a story of buying a ticket, entering a theatre late after the film had started screening, and sitting next to an overweight man who failed to recognise him. Tati said that the man laughed heartily throughout the film and kept nudging him with his elbow, saying that Monsieur Hulot was such an asshole. The film was entered into competition at the 1953 Cannes Film Festival, where Tati was nominated for a Palme d'Or but didn't win. Tati and Henri Marquet received an Academy Award nomination for their screenplay but again didn't win. It did win the French film industry's Louis Deluc Prize for the best film. It was considered the 8th best foreign film of the year by the National Board of Review, and Empire magazine has ranked it as the 49th best film of world cinema. It's included amongst the 1,001 movies you must see before you die. For people like David Lynch and Rick Mayall, this is one of their favourite films. Paul Thomas Anderson has cited Tati's films as a source of inspiration for his film Punch Drunk Love. So there are really lots of good reasons to watch this particular film. There's the pleasant humour of the story, the absurdity of Mr. Hulot, as well as the likeability of Tati's portrayal. It's a film that leaves you with a smile no matter how many times you watch it. So what I'd suggest you do is that you go to our website, find our virtual screenings page, find the link to this particular film, click on it and watch it. As always, see what you think. We'd love you to come back, share your thoughts about the film and whether you'd recommend to other people also. And then we'll be back in the not too distant future for our next classic films review. Hope to see you next time.